What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe.
All right, so the Saints coaching search continued over the weekend, Jake, and it was not exactly a banner weekend for the New Orleans Saints. One of the main memes over the weekend was somebody posting an Instagram poll saying, who want me? And the answer was 100% no, right? And so that was a screenshot floating around. Unfortunately, that has now been applied to the New Orleans Saints after Joe Brady just didn't say no, but kind of vehemently said no. You know, very happy in Buffalo, not going anywhere. So you now have Aaron Glenn choosing the Jets over the Saints. You have Joe Brady saying no. And look, functionally, I think there's a bit of an overreaction where I don't know if this matters too much, because look, you can sue McCarthy if you want. Now you're interviewing Kellen Moore on Monday. Like, maybe you back into a good coach. But functionally, it's not the biggest deal. There's no guarantee Brady's going to be great or anything like that. But symbolically, it does cause me to question, Jake, how do people in NFL circles feel about the New Orleans Saints right now? Right? How is the organization and the franchise viewed? And, of course, that conversation extends into how is Mickey Loomis viewed?
I think you're kind of getting your answer right now in real time. I don't even think it's really a question right now. You have coordinators that would rather stay coordinators than be your head coach. The coordinators that want to be head coaches, they're going other places that have been dysfunctional for a long time.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, they're going to places that I think it's personally going to be harder to win, much more difficult divisions than the New Orleans Saints play in. It's telling you everything you need to know about how the franchise right now is viewed in NFL circles. And it feels like now you're like just bargain bin shopping and hoping somebody takes your job, which is wild. Like, 4 years ago, if this job came open, it would have been one of the hottest ones in the streets.
Yeah.
It would have been the one that everybody was trying to run to the front of the line. Now, speaking of one-on-ones, you know that guy who kind of didn't really want to go in one-on-ones, and he kind of like stand in the back a little bit and didn't want to get the extra reps, and he's like, hey, you already go? He's like, yeah, I got 2 reps. It's like, no, you didn't go already.
Of course
like,
I know him. He's me.
Like, that's right now, like, that's what these candidates are kind of doing with the Saints job. Like, they're hiding in the background, like, hoping they don't get called on.
Yeah.
And there's a lot now of doomsday situations of guys that if they get hired, it's going to be a full offseason of just spewed hate towards that head coach because you don't believe in him.
I mean, I wonder, right, if you get more, it feels like, and I know Cannon's been pushing more, it feels like more would still make people happy. McCarthy's going to be kind of the same thing that it always would have been. But again, it's the reputational damage that Jake is talking about here. And really, what does it mean for Mickey Loomis? Is this a outside condemnation of Loomis? And I can't help, Jake, when you were out last week, we talked about this a lot, but look at the Jags Liam Cohen saga.
Yeah.
Where, and because there were some ideas out there that one of the reasons why Aaron Glenn didn't want to, these are rumors, I should say, right? Some that have been vehemently refuted, but we've also seen other things vehemently refuted that weren't true. Remember when it was vehemently refuted that Aaron Glenn didn't prefer New York? And, well, okay, no, he obviously did.
Yeah.
But there were some ideas out there that Aaron Glenn said, look, I'd be interested in New Orleans, but I want to be able to help choose the GM. You have to be willing to move on from Loomis. Rumors. Rumor is Saints obviously said no because basically Loomis said no. But then look at the Jags, right? So in that same way, Trent Baalke brings in Liam Cohen for an interview. Liam Cohen lets it be known through back channels that, look, I'm interested, but I don't want to work with Baalke. Like, I want to bring in my guy or whatever. So if initially there's no deal, Cohen's going back to the Bucs. He signed an extension. Then they fire Baalke, and all of a sudden, Liam Cohen flies back, and he is now the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So it is real. That can happen. That exact rhythm and situation. And in Mickey Loomis, who knows how he's viewed? When you have a Zach Bond now who is a first-team All-Pro and who's talking about he used to cry in the parking lot in New Orleans pulling up to his job because how miserable it was. You had Dennis Allen for the last few years. Sean Payton's no longer there. Drew Brees no longer there. Like, the things that made you popular amongst the league. Remember, Sean Payton had one of the best locker rooms in the leagues wearing Jordans. Emmanuel Sanders coming in here talking about, oh, my God, this dude's just different. That's gone. And now you're left with Loomis, who's nearly 70 years old, and gives you quotes like this. Just because the results aren't what we want doesn't mean we're doing something wrong. After the Saints go 5-12. We mentioned that postseason press conference is one of the most gaslighty press conferences you'll ever see in your entire life, but he just all looks a bit out of touch right now.
And so you look at what the odds are. And this is 2 days ago, so Joe Brady was still at top. We know he's probably not coming now. So you look at the odds of who the next head coach is going to be. And Kafka for the Giants, being at plus 450, the second best odds to me, that's shocking. And Kellen Moore's got the third best, and then Mike McCarthy, I think, has the fourth best, and then it goes to Anthony Weaver. But if you hire the Giants offensive coordinator, okay, I want you to think about your offseason and what the narrative would be. Because you just lost your offensive coordinator to Seattle, so you're going to be running his offense. Probably going to be his stuff, right?
Yeah.
They were 30th in yards per game out of 32 teams. They were 31st in points per game of 32 teams. So you're telling me that after the debacle that Dennis Allen was in his tenure as Saints head coach, you're going to bring in a guy that just led the 30th best offense as far as yards per game and the 31st as far as points per game, and Saints fans are supposed to feel good about that? With Derek Carr and all the challenges you have on offense, right? You play guys off the street at receiver this year. You hope you get Olave Shaheed back and they're fully healthy, ready to go, all of that. How in the world are Saints fans supposed to feel good about a situation if you bring in an offensive coordinator that was horrendously bad as an offensive coordinator, and he's going to be your head coach, and you're supposed to feel good about it?
Yeah, so, I mean, Kafka would definitely be the worst PR backlash. At this point, if you get Kellen Moore, you know, with him being in the Super Bowl, I think people maybe – and by the way, the Saints are flying out Monday to go meet with Moore in Philadelphia, obviously going to see him since he has a Super Bowl to get ready for. But, like, yeah, because he's having so much success this year, people probably be cool with that. Mike McCarthy, he has a resume to fall back on. Kafka is the guy that would be really head-scratching. You know what's kind of dumb, though? I'm kind of like, okay, well, I don't know. Like, I don't know even with the Saints roster who could be a good head coach, to be frank. We've talked about this, right? Is this almost like a bridge coach anyway? But if that's not the case, all I'll say for Kafka is this, is that something he does in the interview rooms or somebody in NFL circles, like there is belief that he's better than what that Giants offense has been, for whatever that's worth. Because he's been a finalist for multiple jobs over the last couple of cycles, and that's without a lot of on-field success. Now, is that a major red flag? Absolutely, sure. But it's just something that I've been kind of thinking about a lot lately. I don't know who the Saints' next head coach is going to be. Again, the facts right now are they're the only job left. Moore's there, Kafka's there, McCarthy's there, and they just have to convince one of them to take the job. So we'll continue to bring you the latest. Also, check out LouisianaSports.net, Ross Jackson's work.
The other thing, and by the way, he's a young guy. I mean, he's younger than I am. He came into the NFL, Kafka did, as a player, I mean, after I got drafted. And so if they're looking for some youth, I mean, that certainly checks that box. But I get a little worried when he's been touched by the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's kind of like what his star attraction was. I get nervous when that happens.
Smoke Break says the only time Kafka had play calling duty, he took the Giants to the playoffs. I mean, Saquon obviously. Look, I mean, that's the thing. Kafka's going here. Okay, so actually, to your point, maybe Jake, Kafka has been dealt an awful hand in New York, objectively, right? Really bad front office decisions. Okay, but what's better in New Orleans?
Yes.
Like Derek Carr's better. Don't get me wrong, but it's not markedly better. You're still not going to have anybody so it's I don't know, man. God, it's depressing. I'm sitting here talking about Mike Kafka. I don't know. That just kind of hit me.
And by the way, Wikipedia.
Just kind of hit me all at once.
already has him like as the Saints head coach.
Oh, wow.
Like they got a full in the bio there. But
Well,
my,
you better
my
hope.
point,
You better hope. You better hope, Mickey. I mean, you
my-
better hope this guy works out if that ends up being the
my
case.
point about Kansas City is that's Andy Reid.
yeah, it's
Like
when
we've
we heard they
seen
were interviewing
Nagy, we've seen like other coordinators and you know good coaches, but it's Andy Reid. Like Andy Reid is the magic there. That's what we talked about earlier. When you got Hall of Fame head coach, Hall of Fame quarterback, they make everybody around them better. Not just players, but coaches as well. So if they make the move there, it's going to be an all season of just, you know, takes of them underachieving, not hiring the right guy, and maybe you can get proven wrong, but it ain't going to be sunshine and rainbows as you head into training camp.
No, you just got to batten down the hatches and say, like you said, lock in and let's prove everybody wrong. Well, a dark weekend for the New Orleans Saints.
Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.